back with another one. I got this new microphone, and I don't know how the audio output is going to turn out, but I just wanted to talk about, um, the Gears of War beta and my thoughts and my impressions on it so far. I'm just going to just have some gameplay footage of me and my buddies playing here in the background, and from what I've experienced playing the beta, I absolutely loved it. It is different. I say this right now, it is very different. The mechanics and the physics and how, the characters move and stuff like that, how you snap on cover, vaulting, and just, it's really, really different. It takes to getting used to, and I know a lot of the veterans were worried about could you, you know, could you wall bounce to a precision like you did in, games past. But this is the latest installment, so they did a complete rework on the movement system, and then this is not like any Gears that we've ever played before. You see me getting shot in the face right there. But I mean, obviously this is just the beta, so obviously at launch, I'm sure they will tighten up a few mechanics, polish it off and stuff like that, and it'll be ready to go launch day. But from I mean, thus far, just playing, I really really enjoyed it. As you see right there, they got rid of the the switching mechanics for the gun, the switching animation, so we just had to drop the weapon there. So hopefully they'll put the switching animation back in the game. And as you can see, I'm using the incinerator. And let me tell you something, man. That gun is not as devastating as I thought it would be. Cause like I mean, I would say that the gun is pretty balanced. I mean, I know a lot of people probably didn't like the sawed off. I enjoyed the sawed off because in any shooter that I've always played, the sawed off shotgun was always a gun that I've just loved to use. I just like the uniqueness of it. And I remember playing a game called Just Cause, and I just had a gay old time with that gun. But Gears of War 3, it was a very powerful gun, but the range was so inferior. You couldn't even shoot your own foot with it. But if you got close enough, you get like a triple kill. I mean, it was rare, but it was always satisfying when it happened for me. And you only get one shot, and the reload time was took like 2 days to reload. But it seemed like they replaced the sawed off with this incinerator locust shotgun that harvest like it harnesses like emulsion canisters, and it that shoots this emulsion blast, and it's pretty cool. It's like 3 shots capacity, I believe, and I think it holds like 12 rounds total. But I've enjoyed it. But I don't think that gun is going to be, and can't be Gears without chainsaws, right? But I think that you know it, I just don't think that gun is going to be that much of an issue as people feared it would be. At least not to me. I mean, regardless of what they give us in any Gears installment, we got to adapt, right. And that was a thing that I had to do in the third game. So, but I absolutely had so much fun playing this. I actually played the Horde Siege mode more than I played multiplayer, because it was just so much to it was because Horde has been completely it's completely new. It's completely different. I mean, yeah, you still got the because like the Horde maps is like very very large now. So I mean, it's a lot of objectives that you do running around. I think it's like 4 squads. Was it 3 squads or four squads or four? I can't remember. But you have multiple squads running around completing these objectives, and it's kind of like this little open world you have as a world. You don't just hunker down in one area, depending on which mode you play. Cause they have like this traditional type horde where you can just hunker down in one area. But if you pick the siege, tab, then you run around do objectives and stuff like that. But I'm gonna strictly just try to keep it with the multiplayer with this one. But I mean, yeah, the movements are very crisp, very smooth. Obviously, they need to tighten up a few things and polish it a little bit. But I love the new slide mechanic. It reminds me of Resident Evil 6 a little bit. Feeling like Super Cop playing that game. I know a lot of people hated that, but I loved it. But I just and but the rolling in this game is you don't go as far as you used to. So you really have to conserve your evades on this one. And it took me some time to like line up my shots because I don't know which is going to be very much preferred in this one. I don't know if shooting from the hip or doing a hard aim is going to be more effective. I don't know yet, but I'm kind of playing the way I played the beta in multiplayer. I'm kind of playing like how I did on Gears 5. Shooting from the hip is a little better. Only time when I really hard aim really is when I'm trying to go for the down, but it was a struggle for me to even get the down on this one. For me, it was either a shred or not. And there were times where you would think that the shred or the gib, people call it, was coming. You would just get it down. So, and sometimes I had to backtrack and, take the person out, or I would just let somebody else just finish them off because it happens so much. And also, the what us veterans call their title update section. Yeah, you see me jumping over the cover. That's like a new strategy that I use in this one. You see me getting blasted with the incinerator there. But yeah, I mean, the title update six, some you know younger fans may not know, but back in Gears of War what, 2, they introduced a title update section. This six, and it's basically when you just trade shots and you double shred each other. For some reason in this beta, that happened to me a lot in this one. I mean, I think the record for me was like 6 or 7 times in one match. It happened so much for me, and just back in Gears 5 and 4, maybe 2 3 times at the most. But for some reason, I don't know. It just felt like I got updated, and we just traded so many shots. And there was a time where I would, the guy would either chainsaw me and I would shred him with a shotgun, which made no sense. But the trades, it was crazy. But I like the way that I like how you can jump on top of covers and stuff like that because that throws a lot of enemies off. Just the way that I was playing, like stuff like that, when I would just jump up, because that's something new to Gears. Has never been done before. It's it caught a lot of people off guard, and it worked for me. I know a lot of veterans not gonna fall for it, but yeah, that's a shred that my buddy Fox did was despicable. Let me rewind it because that was, as he always like to say, diabolical. That was awful. I've been meaning to catch it because I'm sure he made a short of it, but it was, from my perspective, it was awful. As you see me just running over there, and he just blasts the guy to the ground, and he flips up like that. It was so hilarious to me, and I promised him that I would, upload a short just so he could see it from my perspective because it was awful. And that was one thing that me and my buddies we would laugh about in the Gears games, just the physics of it, especially Gears of War 2, man, with the physics and how the bodies would just fly ragdoll and just it was just so much fun. Yes, Gears of War 2 had its problems with the clunkiness and the bugs and stuff like that, but when you shredded somebody, it was always it just felt satisfying, even with the frustrations of the second game. So that's why we just kept playing and playing and playing. We couldn't put it down, and it seems like this one is kind of bringing that back a little bit. Gears 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5 kind of went away from it, just the way that those games work, from the physics standpoint. But this one, I like how the bodies fly on this one. I mean, it was a lot of people just passing out, a lot of people dying clean. The body doesn't just get decimated all the time. But yeah, I mean, the Nasher is still what it is, and Lancers and the Hammerburst, they went back to the way the Hammerburst was originally. With the burst shot, it doesn't have the rapid fire when you can just keep pressing the trigger, rapid fire that the second game had. But in horror mode, they added so many stuff. I should have captured some footage of me playing Horde as much as I played it, but I might have to just do a separate video of me talking about Horde, probably reacting to something else, because I played it a lot. It was so much fun. I love the mods and all the stuff that you can add in there, but that's for another video. And yeah, for the beta, they had two stages. They had Outpost and they had the Market, which you just see us play on there. And my buddies and I, we favored the Market Team Deathmatch So we just kept playing that over and over again. If we had to do outposts, we just make sure that we got team deathmatch because we didn't want to do control or conquest, whatever they call it on here. We were strictly, we're strictly a TDM type of team. I mean, we'll do dodgeball on Gears 5 and stuff like that, or execution if we had to, in terms of the voting and stuff like that. But we just, because like I said, when Gears of War didn't always have team deathmatch, it was, it used to be just strictly execution for the first two games, and then they had like other modes and stuff like that. But I think TDM was new for the third game. But if I'm mistaken, I think Team Deathmatch was new in introducing the third game. But they got these new um, concussion grenades, which replace the flashes. And I'm telling you, man, those concussions, man, you don't want to get hit with those, man, because you are just completely powerless. You can't do anything when you get hit by the concussion. It was crazy. Can't do anything. I mean, it was just the way that the screen obscures your vision and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, luckily, I mean, for me, too many people weren't using them, and mainly because you couldn't start with them. That was the annoyance for me on Gears of War 5. People starting with the flashes and everything. Everybody just throwing flashes and stuff like that. But something tells me at launch they're going to change that. You're either going to be able to switch to a smoke or concussion, which I'm not excited for. I think they might do that because the concussion got on my nerves. The flash got on my nerves, and I think they might do that for concussion. I very much doubt they'll leave it as a stage pickup grenade. They're probably going to be able to start with it, which I'm not excited for. But hey, I'll adapt like I've always done. As you see me running for the incinerator, man, I was running for that weapon, man, because I really enjoyed using it. It took some time to, because it has a bit of range on it. Somebody said it was the overkill on steroids. It's it's not to me. I mean, yeah, yes, it is powerful and it has range, but if you were out of range, you're not gonna get the kill. I mean, you have to be kind of within range. I mean, yeah, it will shred you. It will put you down. I mean, it's like a one-shot weapon, depending how close you are. There is no downing with that weapon unless you are from a distance. Because I've seen it happen. If like you're from a distance like that and somebody's like cut, if they're weak, you might get it down. But if you are close enough, man, it's over for you. But I don't, I don't see too much. I don't feel me like complaining about that gun that much. I just don't see it. Because as much as I was using that, I just wanted to check the new weapons out and just see how they are. And I'm glad that I played Horde for as long as I did because I got to see the other weapons that wasn't available in the multiplayer maps. I believe they call it the Striker pistol, and it's like a kind of like a nail gun. It shoots like these nails. It looks like I got to see that. They brought the breach shot back. The breach shot basically was the basically a Marxa that the locusts have got a hold of. They removed the scope and it became it's more like a bolt action because the Marxa is kind of like a semi-automatic scout gun, and the locust kind of turned it into like a bolt action rifle and it has a little bit more power. See what I'm saying? You see how I'm on top of the, and he killed me anyway. I wish I'd have got it down, but just stuff like that, just throws people off when you just jump on top of the cover. So I did a lot of that. So I'd rather enjoy that. But yeah, but they brought the breach shot back and they have this new grenade launcher called the Gut Puncher. I was calling it the Gut Buster. And, I got to experiment with that in the horde mode. And that gun, me personally, I think that gun's going to be more of a problem than the incinerator is. Because at least with the incinerator, you have to be within range. And there was this moment where dude, he killed all four of us with it. It was crazy. But I think the gut punch is going to be more of a problem because it has more. You can control it. You fire the weapon, you hold the trigger, and you let it go if somebody's within reach, and they're pretty much gone. My buddy Bounce that I'm playing within this footage here, man, he perfected it. I mean, he was wiping out the whole team as soon as he picked it up. So I actually think the gut punch is going to be more of a threat. It's kind of like a boom shot that you have control over. You can control the fuse time with it basically. I mean, and it has two different modes. You have automatic and you have manual mode where you can set the grenade on the ground, and the properties becomes like it's like a landmine. You can just hold it while it's on the ground, and if somebody walks onto it, and then you let go of the trigger, and it detonates. So it has two different modes, and I'm running towards it right now in this footage. And this is like my early times of using it. I was sucking with it. I didn't really know what I was doing until I was playing horde mode. I was just shooting it and shooting it and shooting it, and I got a little better of it once I figured out that you can hold it and go into like a secondary mode and have more control with the weapon. Yeah, but my buddy Bounce right there, he was death defying with it, just murdering everybody with it. And I'm not doing much. Like I'm trying to get the see what I'm saying? I'm not holding it. See, I didn't know that you can hold it when I was using it here. So I try to get it within range to hit him, and then I finally got him there. So yeah, this is me basically just getting introduced to the weapon, trying to figure it out. And boom, yeah, this is the footage right here. Boom, he shredded. Like he killed all four of us with that weapon. He murdered all four of us with that weapon. We were highly upset because we should have downed him a long time ago. Because on this game, this one, like when people found that they're in trouble, they haul ass on this one. They haul. So I was telling my buddies, man, y'all gonna have to switch to your auto rifles, man, and just pepper them up as they run away because you're not gonna get the downs with the Nasher as you would like as much as at least what the guy finished me off with the incinerate cuts you in half. Terrible, terrible what he did to me. But yeah, man, like on this one, as they're hauling, you gotta like switch the auto rifle to get the down because if you don't, that's what's gonna happen. He had the incinerator, and one of my buddies was arguing saying that he should have got down a long time ago because they were already fighting by the time we went over there. They had got finished, and then I tried to go around the corner try to kill him, and for some reason we just couldn't down him, and we all paid for it, even though we didn't agree how it went down. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and we went against a lot of guys who, and because I believe in Gears games like in because a lot in the competitive modes guys, use the auto rifles more and they spray more and stuff like that. So I mean, we're kind of like we're veterans. We like to, just go in and shotgun battles like the old days. But when Gears of War 3 came out, it kind of made us adapt to using the auto rifles more. So later in the gameplays of playing the multiplayer, I was doing it a little bit more. Yeah, so you see on seeing the irregular movement. So like I said, they still have some work to do before launch. Just polish it up a little bit. But as far as the movements and everything, just the way the game plays, wall bouncing is still there, but it's different. It's definitely not the same. I've seen some experts playing, and the way they were doing it, I mean, it's still there, but it is different because this is a completely rework of the system. And man, oh man, it was like I said, it took some time to learn because this is completely new. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, I was disappointed with the executions. Um, the only guns they'll have like a unique execution was just the Lancer chainsaw bayonet one when you to get the chainsaw. All of the other guns, well, the breach shot and the incinerator kind of had like the same ones because they have the axe blade on the stock of the weapons, so they were kind of the same. But I hope at launch they'll go back to putting unique executions on the weapons because mostly you're just curb stomping people with most of the weapons. So I was disappointed to see that. So hopefully they will, because like on Gears 5 we have so many different unique executions with all of the weapons. They added the Batista bomb and power drivers and stuff like that, karate kick, crane kick. So like I hope they go back to that, added like put a lot of unique executions for the weapons like they've always done. In Gears since the third one. That's when they started adding like unique executions with the weapons and stuff like the mortar and the one shot and all that stuff. And it was pretty unique. So I hope they go back to that and give us unique executions because there's nothing like executing. You see what I'm saying? I just climbed up there and just shot him. He didn't even expect me to do that because, like I said, that's new. It's never been done before, so I was just experimenting with that. Just jumping on top of structures, and you got the baseball slide. The Willie Mays, the Babe Ruth treatment. and I messed up right there with the melee, but luckily I still got him with the pop shot there. But yeah, man, it is an all around massacre. What you're seeing in the typical Gears fashion. It's always been like that. But this is a completely rework of the movements, and I'm not complaining. As long as I can still get on and shred with the best of them, like I've always done for the past, going on 2 decades now. So it's fun. It's fun. I really enjoyed it. TC did a good job, and this is just a beta, so there's no doubt in my mind that the campaign is going to be fun. Horde mode is definitely fun. I hope they add more classes though, because that's what they did on Gears 5. When Gears 5 originally launched, they I think we only had like 4 or 5 classes that were character specific, and then as time went on, they added more and more classes. So there's no doubt in my mind that TC will give us more horror classes. You know, when the game starts aging and stuff like that. So yeah, because I mean the horror siege mode is really fun. Hopefully they'll add more objectives, more monsters and stuff like, or more enemy types. But they got some crazy enemy types on some new enemy types that I'll talk about in maybe in another video. But yeah, man, I can't praise it enough. Like the only thing I can say is just hope that they polish things and and tighten things up a little bit. But I'm satisfied for what they've done thus far. And there's no doubt in my mind that it would always get better because I've never played a bad Gears game. I never played a Gears game that I just despised, that I detested. I never really did. Do I like some Gears installments better than others? Of course. But as long as I can get on and still shred like I've always been doing, you're not gonna hear much of a complaint from me. Most of I think most of people's complaints are really what comes from the story and where the story goes in terms of characters and stuff like that. I think that was people's biggest complaint with Gears 5 because every time I looked at videos and people talking about it, they were mostly just talking about you know certain characters and where the story went. I never really got too much from the gameplay itself because the gameplay to me is as fun as it's always been. The movements got more crisp, more smooth, more fluid like and stuff like that. And with this one, it's just completely different. And no complaints from me. I don't know what more I can say about it, but that's just my impressions thus far. So yeah, at launch, hoping we can be. I expect more classes in the horde mode. Hopefully they'll give us more executions with the weapons and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll create and be more creative and innovate more executions. Um, Obviously we'll get more stages in the multiplayer maps. We'll get more stages, and I don't know. Maybe I mean, like I said, I know this is 14 years before the original game, so I don't expect them to add more weapons to the game. I don't expect that, but yeah, man. I mean, that's really all I'm asking for. Really, is just more classes in the horror mode. Hopefully, they'll give us executions like they did in the last game, and maybe more characters. Maybe more characters. I mean, I hope that we get that. Cause like right here, they got the 4 Locust characters, and then we get the 4 COD characters. We got Marcus Dom, Mags, and Reyes, I believe his name was. Yeah, those 2 characters. Tom may be a playable character because you do see him in the some of the footage that they showed us thus far. So yeah, I just hope that more characters and stuff like that. Maybe Anya, hopefully Anya, hopefully Colonel Hoffman, maybe Cole and Barrett. I don't know if we'll see them because like I said, this is 14 years before, so Cole was probably still playing thrash ball at that time. So, and I don't know where Barrett was. Maybe Barrett was a lieutenant at the time. I just don't know. I don't know. So only time will tell. And I don't know who the big baddie is, but the chairman, I guess his name was this. The subtitle said Trench. And normally I have the subtitles off, but hopefully we'll see the new the chairman at this time. Maybe we'll see Adam Phoenix, maybe. But yeah, I'm just getting ahead of myself because I really can't wait to play the campaign. Yeah, but that's just my thoughts and my impressions on the beta thus far. Oh, I remember, man, when I was playing on this stage, because they have the new cover animation where you can kind of like lie all the way down to your back, and I was able to get like a sniper kill with that, and it was glorious. And I gotta find it. I gotta track it down and find it because I really like that. I might have to make a short of it. I would just kind of pat myself on the back on that one because it's something I've never seen before. You know that when they showed the campaign footage, the new covers, how you can get really low. You can shoot, you can actually still use your gun from that position. And I hit somebody with the long shot, with a headshot, laying down like that. It was glorious. It was just so cool. Yeah, but this is the outpost stage, and they had the Vulcan slash minigun on this stage. I mean, it sounded like the Vulcan from Gears of War 3, even though it wasn't the the two-person gun, but it sounded like the Vulcan, so that's what I was calling because it just sounds like it. And that's another thing, the sound editing in this game, the way that the guns sound, especially the Nashers. I really love the way the Nashers sound on here. I don't know if they use some type of, real audio of them firing actual weapons and they just plug them into the game. Maybe. But the sound editing of the weapons are really good. Funny enough, the long shot kind of sounds like the long shot from the first game. It kind of sounds like it. It kind of like it kicks. Like boom, it has that kind of like that kicking, that muffled sound. That's what it kind of sounds like in this one. Like I said, this is not the finished product. This is just a beta. So maybe things will change. Maybe they won't. Yeah, the frame is kind of dropping on this one. But like I said, this is just me just going at it. See, I'm trying to. I was trying to get it down right there. That's why I kept my distance. See, I was looking for the sniper execution, but they just had that little curve stomp, that little double stomp. A lot of the weapons have that. None of the weapons really have their own unique executions except the lancer, the breach, and the incinerator. So hopefully that's what I was talking about because I like executing people, because you rarely see it, especially when you're running and gunning like this all the time. So I really wanted to, but I really wanted to, hope they, I hope the executions, the unique executions that the guns always had, I hope those are brought back into the game. I hope they do that. But yeah, man, I can't praise it enough, man. Just can't wait till the game, launches. And hopefully I'll see some of you on the battlefield, man. This is Quiz Bleak as always, and 31 cents added. Another one for the archives. And as until next time, you guys. Us.